When someone walks away from a toxic relationship, the world shifts, not just for them, but for the person they leave behind. It's a quiet rupture, the kind that doesn't explode, but echoes. For the person being left, especially when they've grown used to controlling, manipulating, or belittling someone. The silence left in your absence isn't peaceful, it's deafening. You'd think they'd feel relief, freedom, vindication. But what they often feel is panic. Because walking away from a toxic relationship isn't just leaving a person. It's removing the power they held over you. It's burning the playbook they've used to manage your emotions. Suddenly, the patterns they depended on, the guilt trips, the silent treatment, the threats of abandonment, no longer work. And that loss of control? It terrifies them. At first, they may pretend not to care, shrug it off, make a show of being unbothered. They might post things online, vague captions, new selfies, forced positivity. Living my best life, they'll say. But behind closed doors, a very different story is playing out. They feel confusion. Not because they don't know what they did. They know. Even if they've never admitted it. Even if they've told you it was all in your head. But they genuinely didn't think you'd leave. Because you stayed. Longer than anyone else might have. You forgave things no one else would understand. You held space for their wounds while they kept wounding you. You made excuses. Told yourself they were just damaged. Told yourself love is supposed to hurt sometimes. You bent so far, you forgot what standing straight felt like. And so, when you finally walked, really walked, it shook them. Because it meant you saw through the illusion. The mask slipped, and you, the person they depended on to validate them, soothe them, and fix them, finally realized it wasn't your job. That's when anger sets in. Not the kind of anger that comes from loss, but the kind that comes from losing control. They might lash out, smear your name, call you cold, selfish, heartless. They might bring up everything they ever did for you, conveniently forgetting everything they took in return. Toxic people rarely grieve the loss of love. They grieve the loss of access. Access to your kindness, your patience, your willingness to tolerate the intolerable. They might reach out, indirectly at first. Maybe a song you once loved, shared, on their story, a comment on a mutual friend's post, a message disguised as a check-in, but they're not checking in on you. They're checking in on their influence. They want to know if they still have a key to the door you finally locked. And when they realize they don't, when they realize you've truly cut the cord, they feel something they rarely admit: insecurity. Because for so long your pain was their comfort zone. If you cried, they knew they still mattered. If you argued, they knew they still had you hooked. But now there's only silence. No response. No reaction. No emotional fuel. That silence forces them to confront the one thing they've been running from all along, themselves. Because when you leave a toxic person, you take with you the emotional buffer that protected them from their own reflection. And in the mirror, without your devotion to soften the truth, they see the wreckage. Not just of the relationship, but of themselves. And they may try to replace you. Quickly. A new partner. A rebound. Someone new to mold. But it's never the same. Because what they had with you wasn't love. It was access. And you offered it freely, even when it cost you your peace. This is when the mask starts to slip. For real. To the outside world, they may still look composed. But their mind is spiraling. Why didn't it work this time? Why didn't they come back? Who are they becoming without me? And the answer, the one they fear the most, is this: you're becoming whole. Healing doesn't come all at once. At first, it feels empty. You're untangling from someone you once thought you needed. You question yourself. Was it really that bad? Did I overreact? Could I have done more? But eventually clarity arrives. In tiny moments. In the way your body no longer flinches at kindness. In the comfort of a peaceful evening. In laughter that doesn't feel strained. A morning without anxiety. A conversation that doesn't feel like a test. When silence feels peaceful, not dangerous. In the quiet confidence of knowing you didn't lose them, you found yourself. And while you're outgrowing the pain, they're stuck in it. Not because you cursed them, but because they refused to grow. You offered them a chance to rise with you, to face the parts of themselves that hurt you, to evolve. But they chose comfort over change, and now they're left watching from a distance, while you bloom. They see you living, not perfectly, but freely. They see you becoming more you. And what they feel now is something deeper than regret. It's irrelevance. They no longer occupy space in your thoughts. Their voice no longer echoes in your choices. You no longer shape yourself to fit inside the small world they offered you. And for someone who once thought they owned you, that truth is unbearable. They feel powerless, because nothing they do can undo the moment you chose yourself. Some may never change. They'll move from one relationship to another, searching for someone new to play the same game. But others might feel the weight of your absence long enough to finally look inward, to confront the shadows, to grow. But even if they do, that's no longer your story to hold. Because healing doesn't mean hoping they become better for someone else. Healing means becoming better for yourself. When you walk away from a toxic relationship, you reclaim your reality. You stop living inside someone else's storm. You come back home to your intuition, to your peace, to your power. And maybe, just maybe, that was the lesson all along. Not to fix them, but to free yourself. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel.